And after consulting a number of close friends, many advised that please stay put. Maybe there is a lot more you could be able to gather about what your administration is doing, and at an appropriate time, let the world know. And therefore, somebody would really have it. When the cabinet was dissolved on the 11th of July, remember the president farbored. If you remember his statement, he even was talking about the Attorney General of the cabinet. I called him, asked him, boss, what is wrong with you? There's no Attorney General of the cabinet. It's the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. And I told him, you cannot dismiss the Attorney General under Section 12 of the Office of the Attorney General Act without setting up a tribunal, because if you read that section, it puts 5 grounds, and grounds can only be established through a semi or quasi-judicial process, namely a tribunal. He was talking about me telling him this or the other. When he offered me the position of Attorney General, I turned it down.
Why?
That was before. And I told him, well, I've been speaker for 10 years. It's too much reading, because, the speaker has to read through every committee report to approve it for tabling. So this is too much. So I told him, I just want to be in the cabinet, whatever ministry. I didn't care. I did not choose. And at first we left it at that. 2 or 3 days later, my friend then he had just become speaker, succeeding me, Moses Masika Wetangula, calls me. We meet somewhere in Karen, in some hotel one evening, and usual way, he say we are going to do hand to mouth business, and he tells me, I've been sent by the president to plead with you to accept the position of Attorney General. And I told Moses, no. I've already told him. And he tells me, no. He told me to come and plead with you as a friend, classmate, roommate. I mean, because Moses and I have come a long way. I told him, my reservation is one. The way you know me, I'm a stickler to the law. And I just fear taking up a job where I will not be able to exercise my freedom to interpret the law as I best know how. And but I told him anyway. But that's my fear. But I didn't tell him to go and tell him that. A day or two later, William calls me. We are in State House and is eager to announce his cabinet. So we have some general meeting with several other, later cabinet colleagues. Then, as we finish, he says, JB, I have not finished with you. So we go into the office, the inner office. And, we sit down for more cup of tea, because usually that's one thing I think William is very generous with, tea. So we having another cup of tea, and he tells me, JB, I've not finished with you. I say, why? And he told me, I'm pleading with you to take the job of Attorney General. I told him, what, I've told you, I give you my reasons. I don't want to go to go do another 10 years or 5 years of just into books again. I want to relax a bit, because I know ministers, the ministers usually don't have to do a lot of reading. And I know that, except maybe the cabinet secretary for National Treasury, who has no option but to read a lot, just like the Attorney General. So habit, both during President Uhuru's time and even during William Ruto's time, for me to hang around the State House, like I see, many of cabinet colleagues have a habit, they want to go and have tea there. And I don't have that time, and I find it useless, and I can't just go to hang out there to have a cup of tea and just do some little gossip. I don't have the time. it has never been my way of doing things. Even when my friend Uhuru Kenyatta was president, I would never. In fact, Uhuru Kenyatta, almost invariably, he would have to call me. Are you free? Can you pass by? Or I would call him when there's something official, tell him, no, please, you must be available to do this, mainly to assent to bills. Because you never see me hanging around there. So anyway, it was on the issue of
no, just foreshadowing, very, very briefly. Yeah.
No, well, just to find out what was
yes.
what was happening.
Okay.
But I realized that these 7 months, 18 days that I've served as a CS, I realized that I could see I was a rank outsider. Yeah.
Why though?
Because you can always see the way you talk to people, and the way they just shake your hand and move on quickly. When we saw things beginning to go sour, the former minister for CS for Education, CS Machogu, called me one day after a committee meeting. He called me, he called Awalo, he called Muturi. I told me, can we go and find out from the DP, what is this we are seeing between, that was around May, between him and the president. It looks like the relationship is not good. Right. I told him, no, it is true. And I even told Machogu, by the way, I've even discussed it with the president myself, tried to find out what is the issue. That's the only time I remember we had a meeting, and we were that number, the people have named.
Yeah.
But then, when we 2 or 3 days later, I don't know what meeting there was at State House, and I was going somewhere else, but I went. And when I got there, I found Muturi very scared and Awalo, and they told me that they had been confronted by Duale, and he was asking. He asked them what it is they were doing with that Mukora.
The Mukora being?
Rigiji, which was at the instigation or proposal of CS Machogu.
Right.
So, and CS also came, and Walo, they all came. I told them, okay, the best thing, let's go and tell the president, explain to the president what it is we're discussing, because when you see Duale raising those issues, and he's one of those people who likes hanging around State House a lot, he might go and report the wrong thing.
Right.
Maybe I think he had already reported actually.
At that time.
So we went, and after the official meeting that was there, we went to the president, and I think I was dashing to some place, I don't know what meeting, at the Kenya School of Government, but that was still when I was still AG. I went and we explained. I told the president, no, we did this. Ezekiel called me, just like as I've explained.
Yes.
We went to find out. And what did he say? I told Machogu explain. He just started saying he feels that he's being sidelined, things like this. And so we thought you could intervene yourself. And me, I excused myself. That was, I think, almost 2 months thereafter, we were fired.
Okay.
I wanted to be somewhere to serve in the national executive. I think William Ruto is a person with two personalities. The William Ruto that presents himself to the public is a completely different character from the one that sits behind in the office and crafts stuff. I think that kind of person is quite a dangerous character. I think William Ruto is actually unfit for the position of President of the Republic of Kenya. I have come sadly to that conclusion. And I have no bitterness. For me, I just feel my own assessment. When I watch William Ruto sometimes talking to members of cabinet, and to see him say, I do not want to see corruption in my government. Then I started wondering, who is this talking? And I'm sure we will have occasion. I was going to. In fact, somebody talked about a book. It's a book. The book is already in the works. I started immediately. I left. Actually, just before I left Parliament as Speaker, that's when I began working on it. Then, now that we went into campaigns, I stopped a bit, and then I said, "Oh, why don't I just wait and finish my experience in the cabinet
before you do an expose?"
No. William Ruto begins with you slowly, and then he begins to appear like, first of all, I think I want to say William Ruto is a true example of Daniel Moi. And William Ruto is no wonder, actually, he campaigned against the current constitution, because I think he really he relishes a situation where we could go to that imperial presidency.
Right. He said he has a disdain for institutions.
He has disdain for institutions, and that's why he wants to push everything, even in cabinet. If you want to know something where he has an interest, a CS will make a presentation, and then William Ruto will take over. Say, this one is good. He begins now to explain, making sure that there is no dissent, and he starts telling you, the moment I arrive before you and what, then he begins that slowly. He's instilling fear. Today, and I know that's the situation. He makes it impossible for you to have a meaningful discussion. In fact, people enjoy going for cabinet committee meetings, the ones chaired by the deputy president, both Rigathi and Kindiki, because there you are able to speak your mind about any issue that is presented. But before William Ruto, you just have to know he has expressed his position, and he's looking at you. He's making suggestions. The look he gives you tells you on this one that there's not just SHA, the 4 laws. When the cabinet memo was brought to us, one morning we were in Kakamega State Lodge for a cabinet meeting by Nakumicha. She brought me like this. I told her, "What is this? I cannot sign a cabinet memo just like this. This is not the way to go about it." She told me CS National Treasurer has already signed. I said, "It doesn't matter." She ran to the president, who was then with his deputy Rigiji at Kakamega State Lodge. Then they called me, and I go and I tell them, we cannot do cabinet memos this way. The cabinet, even the cabinet secretary, even the AG, it's not just the AG, it is the office. There are people, and I told you, various departments who have to check through. And there's a lot of consultation. Occasionally you will sit about 3, 4, 5 people, and I want to know, why did you arrive at this? Why did you yourself, why is it you prefer this? So that we come up with sound legal advice. Now, I'm told, sign. So when she went and reported the president and his deputy, I told them, no, you know what? I can't sign. The president played with me, he told me, JB, we promised people universal health coverage, what. I said, yeah, I am sympathetic to that, because for me, it's good for the citizens of this country. But I told him, but this procedure is not right. And besides, I've seen something that purports to be draft bills. If I am going to agree to sign the CAB memo, these draft bills must be forwarded to me as Attorney General to review them with clear drafting instructions as what it is each bill hopes to achieve. That's 2 weeks ago. When this is the process of interviewing chairperson for the IEBC, there's a lady who actually admitted. She's called, she said her name, Wajiko Manegene, one of the candidates. She admitted, you can check, that she says among the consultants she has done with government, is that she is part of the team that drafted the health laws. And she was asked, then you drafted. She said, yes. And after that, where did you take them? We took them to Parliament. took this. For me, I think it came as a surprise because I was going to I was still going to reveal to the world that I never took part. But she actually did it for me. That I kept telling people those bills did not come through the AG's office. Because remember, even the Council of Governors and a lot of issues with them. And that also some of the things I was pointing out to the president and his deputy then at Kakamega. What I was contrary to what William Ruto may have thought, I am not the kind of person I keep records, and I have all of them. In fact, on soft.
Okay.